Bob Kieschen, born Robert James Kieschen on June 27, 1927, in Lindbrook, a suburban village on Long Island in New York, experienced a miserable upbringing. Growing up in a conventional American middle-class household during the trying times of the Great Depression and leading into World War II, his early years were shaped by the principles of diligence, education, and civic duty. He subsequently relocated with his family to Forest Hills, Queens, a neighborhood in New York City known for its greenery and peaceful ambiance. In this area, he attended Forest Hills High School, a respected institution that had educated many successful individuals. Due to the escalating global conflict and the recruitment of young Americans into military service, Kieschen graduated from high school early in 1945 at the age of 17. Upon finishing school, with the nation still involved in World War II, Kieschen exhibited a sense of duty and enlisted in the United States Marine Corps Reserve. However, due to the timing of his enlistment, he did not experience combat. The war was nearing its end, and after completing basic training, Kieschen learned of Japan's surrender following the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Consequently, he remained within the U.S. and never went overseas. His military service was short and uneventful, and he was honorably discharged without engaging in any action in the Pacific or European theaters. After his time in the military, Kieschen utilized the GI Bill, a government initiative that provided educational benefits for returning veterans, and enrolled at Fordham University, a private Jesuit college in the Bronx, New York. At Fordham, he studied education, showcasing a strong early interest in working with children and making a meaningful societal contribution. After several years of education, he earned his bachelor's degree in education in 1951, providing him with the academic foundation that would later shape his career in children's television. Despite his quiet and honorable military service during World War II, a peculiar and persistent series of urban legends emerged surrounding Kieschen's name in the years that followed. One of the most commonly recounted and often repeated stories claimed that actor Lee Marvin, a battle-hardened veteran himself, once remarked on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson that he had served with Kieschen during the Battle of Iwo Jima, known to be one of the most brutal battles in the Pacific Theater. According to this fictitious narrative, Marvin supposedly commended Kieschen for his bravery, claiming he was a courageous warrior who saved lives during combat. As time passed, this anecdote proliferated across the Internet, circulated through email chain letters, message boards, and even misquoted in various books and articles, often framed as an uplifting story of a war hero who subsequently dedicated his life to entertaining and educating children. As the myth grew, it acquired increasingly fantastical and conflicting elements. Other versions of the tale suggested that Kieschen was not only present at Iwo Jima, but had also been honored with the prestigious Navy Cross, one of the highest awards for bravery and combat. Still others described him as a highly trained Marine sergeant who had saved dozens of lives through acts of extraordinary bravery. Some even mistakenly claimed that he had fought in North Africa and destroyed a German tank, an obvious inaccuracy given that North Africa was part of the European front, and the United States Marines were not typically deployed there. This part of the legend may have resulted from a confusion with another soldier named Kieschen, or a misattributed war anecdote from British military history. In reality, these stories were complete fabrications. Lee Marvin, while indeed a decorated veteran of the United States Marine Corps, never served at Iwo Jima. He had actually been wounded in action during the Battle of Saipan in 1944 and spent much of the remainder of the war recovering from his injuries. Furthermore, he never made the alleged statement about Kieschen on The Tonight Show, and Kieschen himself, as he often clarified in interviews, never saw combat at all. His enlistment came too late in the war for him to be deployed to any overseas combat zone. the Naval Historical Center in Washington, D.C., has gone on record numerous times to debunk these myths, noting that they still occasionally receive inquiries from individuals seeking to verify Kieshen's supposed war heroism. Despite his attempts to correct the record, the legend of Bob Kieschen as a Marine warrior persisted stubbornly, much to his dismay. Far from being a battlefield hero, Kieschen made his most significant contributions in the post-war years, particularly in the nascent field of television broadcasting. The end of World War II marked the beginning of the television era in America. As the medium rapidly expanded in popularity and accessibility, new types of programming were being developed to meet the diverse needs of a growing audience. One of the earliest and most influential children's programs of this new era was Howdy Doody, which premiered on NBC in 1947. The show quickly became a cultural phenomenon, blending live-action puppetry, storytelling, and clown antics to engage young viewers. It was on Howdy Doody that Kieschen got his first big break in television. On January 3, 1948, he debuted as Clarabelle the Clown, a silent but expressive august clown character who became a fan favorite. Clarabelle communicated solely through pantomime and honking a series of horns attached to his belt. One honk meant yes, two meant no, a technique that added to the slapstick charm and visual comedy of the show. He frequently sprayed the show's host, Buffalo Bob Smith, with a seltzer bottle and engaged in playful pranks and gags, all while maintaining a strictly silent persona. Though Clarabelle was immensely popular, the behind-the-scenes relationship between Kieschen and Buffalo Bob Smith became strained over time. Kieschen, along with some of his fellow cast members, began to feel that they deserved better working conditions and representation. In 1952, in a move that reflected both growing tensions and Kieshen's increasing sense of professionalism, he hired an agent to represent himself and others working on the show. This decision, viewed as controversial at the time, reportedly upset Smith and may have led to Kieshen's exit from Howdy Doody, was marked by various accounts, with some suggesting he chose to leave voluntarily. Regardless, his departure signified the conclusion of his initial major television role. This change, however, represented just the start of Kieshen's impressive television journey. Within just a few years, he would create and star in Captain Kangaroo, a nurturing educational program for children that would continue for almost 3 decades, earning him lasting fame and admiration from many viewers. His early experiences founded on service, myth, and a clown's antics set the stage for his lifelong commitment to children's entertainment and education. On September 21, 1953, Bob Kieschen made a noteworthy comeback to television, this time on WABC TV Channel 7 in New York, with a fresh children's show called Time for Fun. In this program, he took on the role of Corny the Clown, marking a significant shift from his earlier portrayal as Clarabelle on Howdy Doody. Unlike Clarabelle, who didn't speak, Corny was a vocal character, giving Kieschen the opportunity to interact with his young viewers through gentle humor and kind conversation. The show featured a blend of live-action skits, educational segments, and straightforward storytelling, fostering a closer connection between Kieschen and the children who watched. Time for Fun aired in the early afternoon, making it one of the first locally produced television shows specifically designed to both entertain and educate children live during the day. Later that same year, building on the success and enthusiasm of Time for Fun, Kieschen launched a second program on the same network called Tinker's Workshop. This show was particularly distinctive as it aimed at preschool-age children, a group the television had not often directly addressed at that time. In Tinker's Workshop, Kieschen portrayed Tinker, a grandfatherly figure who spent his time in a cozy workshop filled with toys, tools, and educational materials. The show's tone was calm and caring, emphasizing quiet storytelling, fundamental problem-solving, and moral teachings like kindness, patience, and creativity. Tinker's character was gentle, wise, and easy to relate to, providing a soothing presence that resonated deeply with both young viewers and their parents. Drawing from the positive audience reaction and lessons learned from Tinker's workshop, Kieschen, along with his longtime collaborator and friend, Jack Miller, began to envision a new type of children's television experience, one that merged education, entertainment, and emotional warmth. They developed the idea for Captain Kangaroo, a program centered around the reassuring authoritative figure of a kind older man who welcomed children into his realm of storytelling, music, and fun. At that time, CBS was actively looking for innovative concepts to enrich its children's programming lineup, and when Kieschen and Miller presented their proposal, the network quickly approved it. Captain Kangaroo debuted on October 3, 1955, with Kieschen taking on the role of the titular captain, a grandfatherly figure with a mop of gray hair and large pockets in his distinctive kangaroo-style coat, who exhibited an endless sense of patience and kindness. Kieschen once explained that the character was influenced by the warm bond between grandparents and children, a relationship he believed was crucial in helping children feel safe, cherished, and valued. The show swiftly gained popularity, resonating with parents, educators, and most importantly, the children who eagerly tuned in each weekday morning. For nearly 3 decades, Kieschen served as the show's central figure, becoming a beloved name for generations of American families. Throughout its long run, Captain Kangaroo featured a vibrant and whimsical ensemble of recurring characters, each possessing their unique appeal. One of the most beloved characters was Mr. Green Jeans, played by musician and actor Hugh "Lumpy" Branham, a friendly farmer in overalls who often appeared with real animals, delivering gentle lessons about nature, science, and mechanics. The cast also included Dennis, portrayed by Cosmo Allegretti, an awkward but endearing handyman, along with various puppet characters like a clever rabbit, known for his mischief and love of carrots, and the playful Mr. Moose, who enjoyed setting up gags that often resulted in ping-pong balls landing on the captain's head. These characters became iconic elements of American children's culture, and their consistent presence on the show fostered a sense of comfort and joy. In addition to Captain Kangaroo, Kieschen briefly hosted an underappreciated Saturday morning program called Mr. Mayor, which aired during the 1964 to 1965 television season. In this show, he portrayed the fictional mayor of a whimsical town, continuing his tradition of combining gentle humor with wholesome messages. Although the show didn't attain the same level of longevity or cultural significance as Captain Kangaroo, it reflected Kieshen's dedication to expanding his connection with young audiences. However, in 1969, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, established new regulations that prohibited children's show hosts from directly endorsing products during their shows, citing concerns about the impact of such endorsements on impressionable audiences. In response to the ruling, Kieschen and his team adapted by introducing a new character named Mr. Schwinn Dealer in 1972, which was a way to continue promoting the brand while complying with regulatory requirements. This change illustrated Kieshen's dedication to ethical broadcasting and his talent for adapting to changing industry standards. Off-screen, Bob Kieschen maintained a strong and lasting friendship with fellow children's television pioneer Fred Rogers, the creator and host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Their mutual respect and shared vision for using television to nurture and uplift children led to many collaborations over the years. In 1970, they both appeared on The Others program, introducing each other's audiences to their respective worlds. This crossover delighted viewers and reinforced the notion that children's programming could be both informative and emotionally enriching. In 1980, they appeared again in the PBS special Springtime with Mr. Rogers, a gentle, introspective program celebrating the renewal and wonder of the spring season. The following year, after Kieschen suffered a heart attack in 1981, Fred Rogers made a brief but heartfelt appearance in Kieshen's TV special Good Evening Captain, marking his return to television. Joined by Dick Clark, Rogers presented Kieschen with a bouquet of flowers at the program's conclusion, a touching moment that symbolized their friendship and mutual respect. Outside of television, Kieschen enjoyed a substantial career in audio recordings, lending his voice to a variety of children's albums for labels like Columbia Records, Golden Records, and RCA Victor. Many of these albums featured songs and stories from Captain Kangaroo, bringing the magic of the show into children's homes even when the television was off. Some of his most celebrated works included a child's introduction to jazz, which introduced young listeners to the rhythms and history of jazz music in an enjoyable and accessible manner, and a narration of Peter and the Wolf, conducted by the renowned Leopold Stokowski. Kieschen also narrated Captain Kangaroo introduces you to the Nutcracker Suite, helping to make classical music engaging and memorable for young audiences. These recordings further cemented his role as an educator, entertainer, and advocate for childhood development through the arts. On July 11, 1981, Bob Kieschen, who was adored by generations as Captain Kangaroo, experienced a serious heart attack shortly after landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport in Canada. This incident occurred just moments after his arrival, casting a shadow over what was supposed to be a celebratory event. Kieschen had traveled to Toronto to receive a distinguished award, recognizing his contributions to children's television. Even with the seriousness of his health issues, Kieschen returned to his work and was recognized for his steadfast dedication to children's programming. He earned 3 consecutive Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Performer in 1982, 1983, and 1984, an impressive accomplishment that showcased both his perseverance and lasting popularity. These awards acknowledged his remarkable ability to connect with children in a considerate, respectful, and nurturing way, attributes that had characterized his work for many years. Yet, while he celebrated this professional acclaim, his program faced difficulties. In 1981, Captain Kangaroo, which had typically aired for a full hour, was shortened to a 30-minute format due to CBS's decision to extend the CBS Morning News and reallocate its airtime. Along with the reduction in duration, the show was also moved to a less favorable time slot. Initially repositioned to 7 a.m. under the new name Wake Up with the Captain, it was shifted even earlier to 6:30 a.m. at the start of 1982. These scheduling modifications created issues, as many young viewers were still asleep at such early hours, leading to a drop in audience numbers. Then, in the autumn of 1982, CBS decided to completely remove Captain Kangaroo from its weekday lineup, offering it only as a weekend hour-long program. Just 2 years later, in 1984, the show was further trimmed to just a half-hour airing exclusively on Saturday mornings. These frequent changes and cuts were a source of great frustration for Kieschen, who had dedicated nearly 30 years to the show and its goal of providing gentle, enriching entertainment for children. After enduring years of declining support from CBS, Kieschen ultimately decided to part ways with Captain Kangaroo when his contract came to an end in December 1984. This choice came only 9 months before the show was set to celebrate its 30th anniversary, a milestone he had long wished to commemorate. While his departure signified the end of a significant era, his legacy continued onward. By 1987, reruns of Captain Kangaroo were being broadcast on PBS stations across the country, enabling a new generation of children to connect with the program and its beloved characters. These reruns played a crucial role in maintaining its presence in the memories of childhood. Following the end of Captain Kangaroo, Kieschen stayed active in children's media and public service. In 1985, he took on the role of host for CBS Story Break, an animated anthology series that visually brought popular children's books to life through cartoon adaptations. Kieschen appeared in live-action segments that preceded each episode, introducing the selected story and prompting children to read the original book and explore similar titles. His warm and thoughtful demeanor continued to make a significant impact. He also contributed to child care solutions amidst a changing workforce by providing employers with a means to support their employees' family needs. Kieschen once again showcased his dedication to the welfare of children and families, principles that had always shaped his professional journey. Bob Kieschen passed away on January 23, 2004, in Windsor, Vermont, at the age of 76. He left behind a lasting impression not only as the gentle Captain Kangaroo, but also as a devoted advocate for children's education, development, and emotional welfare. When Britain reached the peak of Mount Everest, he brought along several photographs of his late grandfather. As a heartfelt tribute, he buried one of those photos at the summit, symbolically placing the captain atop the world, a fitting honor for a man who had been a consistently uplifting influence in many lives. Bob Kieschen was interred at St. Joseph's Cemetery in Babylon, New York.